Hi, my name is March, and a few weeks ago I was doom scrolling, as one usually does, when I ran into this particular fella. If you're a serial doom scroller like me, you definitely know this dude. But if you're not a serial doom scroller or somehow haven't ran into this dude before, I will catch you up to what he does. On Instagram, Benny, that is his name, plays a myriad of games, such as Snake. I think I'm forgetting one. Oh yeah, he also plays Snake. Honestly, it's both interesting and inspiring the things you can make living off of on the internet. But either way, considering this guy plays so much Snake, he must be cracked, right? And yes, he is cracked. That's exactly what triggered my game development instincts. Almost like a parent, I started thinking about how much he must struggle finding challenges. If you actually watch his streams, you might know that he actually struggles with the modes at the start and takes a while to beat them, but just follow along here. Okay? Anyways, he must not struggle with any challenges at all, which is exactly why I feel the need to create a Snake game difficult enough to challenge him. Now, of course, when I had this idea, I reached out to him, but this guy has over 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 12,000 followers on Instagram, and he sometimes makes YouTube shorts that hit millions of views. This guy is a big shot. So naturally, you'd expect him to not reply to me, but that's exactly where you're wrong. This is why you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So, you know, considering this guy literally reached out to me despite the fact that I'm no one, you should probably go ask your crush out. Just to make it clear, if your crush says no, it's not my fault. After 2 very productive calls with Benny, I already had a skeleton of the game, and the game already looked promising. First time using a green screen, by the way, so don't make fun of me, I'm still learning. One thing that I had to consider while making my game is the fact that Google already has an unbelievable amount of modes for their Snake game. More than you can count. If you're really bad at counting. At any given day, you can sit down and play regular Snake, or a version of Snake where you're in an epic battle with your evil twin, or even a mode where you literally can't even die if that's more your style. Here's the thing with Google Snake. You don't have to be good at a lot of modes to beat one. Beating a mode is basically just sitting down and playing the same game over and over again, very repetitive, until you're good enough to beat it. By the way, if you have no clue what it means to beat Snake, you basically have to grow large enough to cover the entire board. Anyways, we're on the same page now. My game does not have this repetitive issue, as in my game, you don't pick the mode picks you. You might already be getting some ideas in your noggin about how to cheat my game. Oh, if I don't like the mode, I'll just die and reset until I get one that I like. But that's the thing, you can't do that. In my game, you don't get the same mode the entire game. The mode changes from time to time. So the only way to win my game is to get good at all of the modes. But this makes my game so difficult that I decided to add power-ups to encourage the player to actually keep playing. You have one that lets you avoid death, one that shrinks you so that moving around the board is easier, another one which boosts your luck, and so on. Now, of course, giving these kinds of abilities to the player makes the game too easy now, so to balance that out, naturally I added bosses. Nah, I'm lying to you. The power-ups didn't make the game easy at all. I just really wanted to add bosses. Now, of course, with all of these things considered, covering the entire boards to beat the game is a pipe dream. It is not something that can be done, which is exactly why in my game, the goal is a little different. Instead of covering the entire board, your goal is to eat a number of fruits. By default, your goal is 70 fruits. But did you notice how I just said by default? To make the game more fun and less ragey, I've decided to give you the ability to customize it. Of course, if you don't beat the game with vanilla settings, I'm not gonna count it as you beating the game, but if you want to bring down the goal really low to see what that's like, or if you want to max it out to 99, you can do that. Along with the goal, you can also customize the volume, the speed of the Snake, and the colors of the game. Now, I'm gonna tell you again later on in this video how to play this game, but if you're already so curious that you can't wait, there's a link in the description which you can click or copy into your favorite browser, and you should be able to play it. But unfortunately, it's not available on phone. Besides, you're not beating it on phone, let's be honest. But if you're on a computer right now, or if you have access to a computer, the link is in the description. There are 3 main concepts in the game: modes, power-ups, and bosses. Although both in the game and how I call modes states. So when I say states, I'm actually talking about the modes that we talked about earlier on in the video. The development process was split into 3 phases: pre-alpha, alpha, and beta. Pre-alpha focused on turning my ideas into code. I coded 10 states, 11 power-ups, and 6 bosses. I actually had far more ideas. I was supposed to do 10 of each, but I ended up cutting some ideas as well as coming up with new ideas during the development process. And the reason I cut a lot of ideas is because either they were too ambitious or they were just stupid. No in-betweens. During the pre-alpha process, I coded a lot, and I drew a lot, and I thought a lot, and some of the state ideas were heavily inspired by a Google snake. Like the one where the blocks appear after you eat fruits. Can you try and guess which Google snake mode inspired that one? It's very hard. I can give you a hint if you want. During the drawing process, especially for the fruits, I referenced a lot of the Google snake sprites, but I didn't copy any of them. However, I did copy the colors because I suck at color theory. Sorry, not sorry. And when all was said and done, and the pre-alpha phase was finally complete after a month of active work, I finally had a game that I was actually proud to call mine. Out of the 3 phases, alpha took the least amount of time, about 5 to 7 days. Or in other words, give or take 6. Yeah. The alpha phase consisted of me playing the game every day, hours at a time, finding and fixing atrocious bugs. By far, my favorite development phase of this project was beta, because yes, pre-alpha is most definitely the most fascinating as it helps me bring ideas into reality and allows me to create something that then I can play. It is something that I've done many times before. Considering this is my first ever large-scale project, this was the first time one of my projects has needed a beta phase, and frankly, it was an enlightening experience. Even though the beta phase lasted only about a week, a handful of people helped find 30 different bugs, many of them being devastating to the game. 30 is a number so large, I couldn't show it to you if I used all my fingers and my toes. I'm obviously not showing my toes on camera. What I've learned is that a beta phase is essential for any coding project that you take seriously. Unfortunately, there are some bugs on the top of my mind that I was unable to replicate or fix. They're still in the game, and even though they're not devastating to the game and they're incredibly rare, they're still a blemish on an otherwise great game. For those of you who have enjoyed this video, maybe even the game, and just generally the ideas that I have put into this game, the future of this game is not bleak. I'm not just gonna release it and abandon it. I have some ideas for its future where I want to update it. The ideas that I mentioned earlier on in this segment of the video that were too ambitious, or any new ideas that came up during the beta process, which I of course couldn't add anymore, I'm gonna make sure that those eventually end up in the game. So when I bless this wonderful community with a new update with a decent amount of new content, I really hope that you will be here to see it. Here is your reminder that you can play the game through a link in the description. Before I leave you, I want to share a secret with you, but don't tell anyone. I've actually never beaten the game on vanilla settings. My best is actually 65 out of 70. But yeah, don't tell anyone. If you're new to the channel, I recommend that you check out some of my other videos, or if my videos aren't exactly your style, you can go directly to my itch.io page where you can play my games there without having to hear my annoying voice. However, if my videos are your style, I recommend that you subscribe because you will be seeing more in somewhat of a near future. Hi, I'm editing right now, and I just wanted to say there's also a Discord link in the description that you can join. It's like a pretty new server, but yeah, you can talk to me there and stuff. I've said this before on the channel, but I'll repeat it again. When we get to 100 subscribers, I want to make a nice, decent chessbot completely from scratch, which is a project I'm very excited to work on, so help me get there. In the next video, I'm going to build a guitar that is the size of an apartment complex. Like, subscribe, and bye!